You know, if I'm going to use something like this, there's a good chance that I'm going to go with a grizzly hackle. When you pick your hackle feather, you want to bend the pelt like this, or bend the skin like this, and look for a good feather. Now they make hackle gauges that a lot of people use to determine how big a piece to use, and that's something that you'll learn with practice. From here, if the body's about this size, I'm going to want my hackle feather to be about half again bigger than that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look at the hackle feather, and if you bend the hackle feather, you see there's a point where it starts to web up. Right in here, you can probably see that there's webbing in this area. Okay, what we want to do is right about where the webbing starts, we want to pull it here, clean that up, pull it back like that, and just clip it off. Now, if you're going to go into production and make a bunch of these, it's a good idea to go ahead and kind of normalize you a bunch of hackles before you start. Come up under here, pull it down, wind back over it till you get right back to the edge of your little button-up chenille. Come up under here and clean off the tail of that feather. Now, sometimes I just fold it back and wind over it, and that makes a loop there that ties it in real well. You don't really have to do that as long as you've got a good hackle stem, but if you're working with really smaller flies, I think that's a good way to do it. Okay, from here, in order to give the hackle something to bind to, we're going to come back and go ahead and put some more head cement right in this area. Right in here. Just let it run down the back of the body, soak all up in those threads right there. Now when you go to wind a hackle, if we're going to wind it in a vertical pattern perpendicular to the hook, we call that palmering. What I'm going to do sometimes here is take my thread and come up here, and if I've got a little piece of hook sticking out the front, like a lot of times in these hoppers when I make the bodies, I leave a little piece, see? And I'll do that. Come here with your hackle pliers, and I like these teardrop ones. They have a really good sharp point on them, and they hold the feather like crazy. Come in here, just bite it like that, and we're going to wind this in right in here. I just made a wrap and a half forward this way, and then I'm going to come back through it, wiggling the feather this way, so that I wind over the others and in between the fibers, rather than making them mat down. What I want to do is make a very brushy looking hackle. Now, I'm going to unwind from the front here, which puts my thread right back where I wanted it. Drop this over here, come up under it, come right around the base of the hopper here, right back around here again, right around here again. Several wraps like that. When you have it good and tight, you can take your hackle pliers and just snip off the hackle. Sometimes it'll snip off real clean, and other times it leaves a little tip, and if it does, you just clean it up. From here, come back, come under, and we're going to do a whip finish right here. Whip finish right again. Every time I turn it this way, I've made a Y, and I'm sliding that right down here. Then I'm going to run it up like this, pull it up, snub it up. Bring your tying scissors up, come up, clean it off like that. Now, that's a good start for a popper. It's good with a popper to put crosswise rubber legs on it as well. For doing that, I actually prefer the use of a sewing machine needle. I take the sewing machine needle, it's got a good base to it that you can hold on to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the body here, and I'll go from this side to make it a little easier to see. Go from here, just insert it straight through the body like this. Okay. Now from here I'm going to use a needle threader, and I've taken a mattress type needle threader and I've added it to a piece of cork to make it light. That way I can turn it loose without it falling through. It's virtually the same thing as the way a bobbin threader is made. This is a bobbin threader. The only problem with the bobbin threader is the way the bottom of the bobbin threaders, you turn it loose, the weight of it just pulls it right out. So you want to do this with a little piece of cork. That's a pretty handy way to do it. Now I'm going to put rubber legs through the body. So what I want to do is take a piece that's about twice the length that I'm going to need. And I'm just going to snip that off. I'm going to run it through my needle threader. Run it up against here like this. And then just carefully pull it through the needle. There we go. Just like that. And once you've got it through there, you want to pull it back until it's about balanced on either side. So now you've got a piece of rubber leg going through the body this way. What I'm going to do here is just carefully take this and work it slowly and pull it right straight through the body and then stretch it out like this. Come in here and clip that off like that. Pull it out of your needle. You just stick the needle somewhere where I can find it. And then what I like to do with these rubber legs is pull them all up together and clip them off cleanly together so that they're uniform in length. That's what I call a Lee popper. It's a pattern that my dad developed a long time ago, probably 60 years ago, and he made them out of cork. And here's one of the flies that he tied out of cork, much larger one, big bass popper.